Alright. I guess there's also food in this one, and also the paid pack. I'm not going to rank the paid pack stuff because I don't have enough experience. And also, from what I've seen, it seems like free pack is better in 1v1s. I don't know. Maybe there's just not enough paid pack players to like really confirm that. Ant's okay. It's going to be somewhere in B tier, but Badger is definitely going to be in A tier. I'll just put these things in the general spot first. Yeah, I guess we can go A tier. C tier, probably. Camel. F. I guess it can counter mosquitoes. Like, the advantage of getting early blowfish or camel, if they have, like, a mosquito, I guess that's pretty good. Alright, cow's probably A tier. Crab, also A tier. Crickets. Yeah, not good. Crocodile, B tier, probably. Deer, also B tier. Dodo's gonna be an A. Early dog can still work. I don't know, like, how... If you get the early dog, I think it is, like, a somewhat helpful thing, but it's still pretty tricky. Dragon's gonna be an A tier. Duck, F tier. Elephants, D tier, I guess. Fish... I think fish is A tier. Hey, thanks for gifting a sub, Arc, to Copious. Appreciate it. You've gifted 4 subs on this channel. And a hype train is close. How exciting. Flamingo. You know, I don't know, like, is Flamingo actually A tier? I feel like when you get an Ox, since Ox is S tier, I will put an Ox in S tier, and, like, just being able to pill Flamingos in front of Oxes, I feel like is such a good strat. It almost would, like, put it into A tier, but for now I'll just, like, leave it in top of B tier. I'll order this stuff later. Giraffe, I can't tell if it's actually A or B tier. I know I went Giraffe in one of the verses in the tournament, and I really regretted it, because I was already behind, and I decided to take a turn 5 Giraffe. I just don't think it's actually worth it if you go with Snail Strats instead. So we'll just put it like in B tier. Gorilla, it could be in B tier because of Mosquito too. I don't know. I might put it in C tier or bottom of B tier. Hedgehog, probably C tier. Hippo, I'll put that in D tier. Horse, C tier. Kangaroo. Kangaroo is like worse Ox, really. You can't take a Kangaroo late game, probably. So it's like, it's just, if you get an early Kangaroo, you'll take it, and it's probably pretty good, but most of the time I feel like you're gonna end up selling it. I'll put it like the top of B tier. Leopard, it's like, most of the tier 6s just are not really that viable, because most of the games end on like turn 11 anyway. But Leopard's pretty decent. Mammoth, I don't know if I've like ever taken a mammoth. If you do get like a mammoth and a pill, I guess like maybe that's worth it, but I guess we'll put it in bottom of C. Monkey, the problem with Monkey is that you have to put your good unit in front, and then like it's so predictable with positioning, and if you have a million armor unit in the front, then they can easily counter it, so that's why Monkey is no longer S tier. I'll put it somewhere in A tier. Mosquito is probably A tier. Otter is gonna be S probably. Parrot's probably going to be somewhere in A. Peacock, F. Badger's S tier. Alias makes Badger look broken. He does an amazing job with Badger. I should definitely like experiment more with it. I'll still put Penguin in S tier. It's really hard to just like, I don't know. Even though Snail Strats are really still like the best thing to do, I think if you get a Penguin and a lot of level 2s, it could still work out pretty well. Pig. Put that somewhere in C tier. Rabbits, I'll put that like bottom of B tier. Rat's gonna be F tier. Rhino, another D tier. These are like units that almost have no purpose, but maybe there's a chance. Rooster's gonna be somewhere in A tier. Let's see, Scorpion. A very nice counter to just like, if you can somehow read your opponents. Like, again, if they have a monkey and they don't have like melon in front, or you just have like a 1-up Scorpion. That can be very interesting to mix things up. I think I'll put Seal in A tier. Just like any form of scaling in 1v1s, if like you're already ahead and you get a Seal, it feels like you can kind of just win. Shark is D tier. Sheep, like top of C tier probably. Shrimp, put it bottom of C tier. Like, you can go Shrimp Dog. I wouldn't really recommend it unless you like get both immediately. Dodo S tier. Snail S+. Snail is going to be an S tier. Skunk going to be in high A tier, I think. It's just such an easy counter. Like if they do go dog and they just have one big unit, you just get a skunk and you destroy people. Snake is pretty decent, mostly just for like popping melon armor, I think. But occasionally you can like snipe someone's fly. It's not a terrible thing in 1v1s, especially since you don't go super late game. Spider, I'll put it in B tier. I know Donut Seeds is a huge fan of just buying spiders and pilling it, but my success rate with that, it seems to be so low. I never actually get anything good. Like, I sometimes get like a turtle or something, but you're gonna be... I think duck is actually worse than squirrel. Swan. Tiger, like Tiger Badger I saw Alias do somewhat, and it's pretty interesting. I don't know how good it really is. Tiger Leopard is clearly pretty good though, so just for that reason, I'll put it in the bottom of B tier. I don't know. I lost to Cleanup, who did go with a turkey rooster at the end, and he put a 1-up on the rooster, and it worked really well, because you spawn 7 1s. You spawn like a 1-1, no, you spawn a 4-4, which spawns 2 7-1s or something like that. So I could see turkey being A tier, but I'll probably put it in top of B tier for now. Worm is going to be an F tier. It's just way too easily countered by snake, I think. Turtle is going to be somewhere in S. I'll put it like 3rd best maybe. And then whale, probably D tier. I don't know the last time I've ever bought a whale. Like, whale deer is just not a thing anymore, right? Wait, why is butterfly but no other paid pack things on here? Everything else is just free to play. Skunk also the best way to counter bison and to an extent crab. Yeah, like the problem with otter, I guess you could say, is that it'd be easily countered by skunk, but all you have to do is buy a crab, and then you have like 2 high HP units, and then skunk doesn't do it. Okay, so I think snail, even though, again, the person who went like snail stress didn't actually win, but it still seems like the snail meta is kind of the thing. And then I think ox is just like, everyone buys oxes. There's no doubt that it's extremely good. It also counters mosquito because you can't pop the melon armor. What's really surprising is how many people don't buy turtles and like freeze pills for turtles, but I feel like most of the people who were in the top 8 just didn't bother with like hard rolling for turtles or melon armor or like that sort of stuff. Maybe it's because of mosquito, but like you can always just not pill the turtle. I didn't really see a ton of turtles in use, just like occasionally. Otter is apparently worth rolling for a lot. I kind of hate the idea of the early game just being like you roll for otters and then whoever gets more otters wins, but it feels like the person who does just high roll a bunch of otters wins the early game, and then if you go like cupcake crab, you can like kind of win the middle game, and if you get like an ox as well. And then once you get a lead, you just like roll for snails, and then there's no way for the other person to come back. So like just winning the early game can be huge. This is pretty much what like Schliff's strat was, right? Is you just like, you get a bunch of stats early on with otter, you cupcake crab to like get the advantage, you buy like a bunch of good units, and then you just like wait until you lose and you just roll for snails. Never buy a leopard over honey, Peepo G? This is 1v1s. How many people actually bought a leopard? Like, when I was watching, there was maybe 1 leopard build, and that was it. We also like never saw dragons, but if you do get like a turn 9 dragon and you're not on lethal, it seems like you'll just win based off that. Yeah, it's really good. Well, I don't know if it's even that good in big versus lobbies. Like, I see a lot of people just like hard commit to leopard and still lose in the versus lobbies. But if you do have like, you know, mosquito, leopard, monkey, it's worth going for. Otters are the new duck, pretty much. I would agree with that. And so, well, I guess like otters and snails. These are just the things that people hard roll for now, it seems. I don't think like, I didn't really watch all of the games that Cleanup was playing, but for the most part, he was just like taking what was offered to him, kind of. He wasn't super hard rolling for stuff, which is cool. That's why I was rooting for Cleanup to win. I didn't want the meta to actually be like just roll for otters and snails and then you win. It's just up to like RNG, whoever gets more snails and otters. But fly, it can be a huge difference. It just like pops melons, or if you get like a level 2 fly, You know, it's just way too many stats. Badger, top of A tier, probably. Just like these tier 3s, these are pretty much what you want. Like on turn 5, you just like roll for a Badger and Ox, I think. And then like Skunk. Is Dodo maybe too low? Since it seems like everyone takes Dodos, I really should like look at the VODs of my matches and just like, okay, Bison's way too high here. We'll move you back a bit. I don't know how high Dragon should be since it doesn't come into play too much, but it's still like so amazing. Is Crab this high? I feel like Dodo and Rooster should be next to each other. That way it looks like an actual game. Cow. Is Cow that good? I really don't see people buy that many cows, but usually if you have the space for it, you do. It's just like +2, +4 for 2 gold. It's pretty good. Dodo Leopard is possible. Oh yeah, that's another good opportunity thing. I guess like, yeah, I really didn't see anyone do Dodo Leopard. But if you get the early Leopard and you have a Dodo, I guess definitely should take it. You saw very few snails in the tournament. There are some people who are really going with the snail strats. Cleanup always solid. You've been learning to just roll with the game gives you. The thing is, if you do that and you go against someone who's going snail strats and they just get lucky, then there's nothing you can do. I feel like someone who just high rolls with the otter snail strat is just going to be unbeatable. If they don't get like super lucky, then they might lose, but it's really just like, it's just dependent on RNG. I know this game is a lot of RNG, but this just like heightens it even more. This is like, you might as well just be like gambling on the roulette table. Is snail strat that consistent? The person who got third pretty much went snail strats the entire time. So it's apparently pretty consistent. They didn't win, so it's not like it's broken, but it can still be one of the top strats. Dodo's a huge pick because it enables Dragon Scale without much penalty. There's just like a lot of things you can do with Dodo, I guess. Like Dodo Ox, and then you go to Dodo Rooster, and then you can go to like Dodo Leopard. A lot of things work with Dodo. And again, it's just so good with snails. No Sloth or Boar. Oh yeah, that's true. Sloth, actually F tier. I don't know why everyone says it's S tier. Clearly, it's terrible to 1-1. I want to ruin everyone's fun. And then Boar is probably like D tier. I don't know what situation you'd actually want to use a Boar. Dodo's easy to roll for early. Yeah, I guess like if you really want a unit, it's pretty easy to get on like tiers 1 and 2. I don't know about like tier 3s. I haven't experimented enough with like hard rolling for an Ox and just like seeing if you can get it every single game. Popular strats tier list. Sub lost to tourney because he skipped Sloth. It's true, I did skip a Sloth and I still lost. So in hindsight, I wish I had taken it. That way I could have blamed the loss on Sloth. Sloth not OP confirmed? Pretty much. What's up, Otter? Did you see Alias win with Sloth? It's true. He used it as like a sacrificial thing where he went Badger and then Sloth in the second spot. I don't know what else to reorder. Probably Kangaroo. We'll put Leopard in front of all this stuff and maybe like Spider. Then Crocodile. Like there's that game where Cleanup just had a Crocodile and Schliff just left the Badger in the back the entire time. I guess it was like a super mind game, like he's gonna think I'm gonna move it. So like eventually Cleanup just sold the Crocodile because he figured, I guess, like he would move the Badger, but he just kept the Badger in the back the entire time. I don't know if Gorilla's actually this good. I feel like I don't see Gorilla used too well. I'll leave it in B tier. Is Dolphin better than Crocodile? Probably not. I could even see like Croc being above Ant. I don't really see people like going with ants too much. Let's see. Sheep, beaver, blowfish is probably towards the back of C tier. Pig is probably moved up a bit. Horse. I don't know. Hedgehog is actually, like, it's not that bad as just a buy for, like, a couple turns. Beaver, though. Actually, Beaver's probably lower than most of these units. As much as I love the Beaver emote. You feel like Dragon's a little overrated in 1v1s. It's just not used too much. But if you do get an early Dragon, I think it's pretty good. It's just, like, a very rare situation. Similar with, like, Dog. But, you know, like, there's some units where you get an early, like, you know, Rhino or something, or early Worm, and it's completely useless. Like, if you at least get, like, early Dog or early Dragon, it's gonna completely change what you're going for. Gorilla is used for one thing, anti-frontline badger tech. Huh. That's a good point, actually. I really never thought about that. Gorilla's anti-mosquito. But it's a tier 6, like, its base stats aren't that amazing, and since I don't think people go for, like, hands too much, you're just gonna have, like, a 6-9 or whatever, and that's not, like, quite enough to think about replacing a good unit, I think. Did anyone make the Puff Hog strats work? No. Let's see, what else is there, though? This looks like it's pretty much fine. I don't know what else I would rearrange. You guys think there's too many things in A tier? Fine, right? I think, like, okay, so do snails actually need to be nerfed? I think so. I would really prefer if they were. There's a couple ways they could do it. I think they could either make it a tier 4 unit, or they could just make it a +1/+1. Or they could maybe make it so it doesn't level up. That way if you actually, like, high roll 3 snails, it's still not insane scaling. I don't know if that's a big enough nerf, though. 17th is top 20, it's okay to feel proud. I at least outplaced Fengar, right? That's like the one consolation, is that I know Fengar didn't do super amazing, so it's like, yes, there's enough RNG in the game where even the best players just don't do super well. The devs should change the abilities like every 6 months so new metas keep rising, the game does not become dull. Yeah, I hope they continue to balance the game, but like, I really hope they don't just listen to the casual players and they actually like listen to some of the feedback from like the tournament players. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with another whale situation where they're gonna like nerf like, I don't know, sheep or like, what's a unit that people use a lot that they think is really good? I don't know. I could see turkey being nerfed again or like deer being nerfed. Hopefully that doesn't happen though. Like, just nerf. I don't know what they could do with Ox. Does Ox actually need to be nerfed? Maybe its ability is like +1 attack instead of +2. I don't know if that's enough nerf though. Think you're underrating deer? Early splash is strong. Yeah, like it's a good thing to see on like turns 5 and 6, but I don't know, like I just don't take deers too often on turns like 7 and later. Maybe occasionally it's just like a fill. But B-, it's still pretty decent, right? Maybe I'll move it above dog. Because early deer is probably better than early dog. Did Snail get buffed? Why is Snail strat so OP now? It's mostly just because it's 1v1s. And 1v1s is so tempo heavy, you don't need to plan for late game, so you don't need like a ton of scaling. And just like the difference, if you're ahead and you have snails, then you'll always be ahead. And if you're behind and you get a whole bunch of snails, then you can just like vault ahead. Its stats is just like, if you give +2/+1 to 4 units, that's 12 stats for like a tier 3. If you compare that with like a giraffe that's giving +2 a turn, it's just so unfair. And you can level up snail so that it gives double its stats. Like +4/+2 to 4 units is better than like a dragon. You weren't trolling? I don't think snail strats are broken. Like they don't win you every single game. It's just like so RNG dependent. But I feel like if everyone does learn snail strats and it becomes the meta, it's just going to become like whoever just gets more snails, and I don't want that